Hey everyone, so while this is heating up and I am destroying this little piece of butter here, I'm going to actually go over how you can make the best stuffing recipe ever. The first thing you're going to need is a really big pan. I use a non-stick wok, non-stick utensil as well, and I also use a deep casserole dish. Now, these two items are absolutely non-negotiable as far as what you need because we are going to be working with 2 packets of stuffing and an extra ingredient, which is breakfast sausage. This is Jones Dairy Farm sausage, and I use Kerrygold butter. Now, using Kerrygold butter, Pepperidge Farm stuffing, and Jones Dairy Farm sausage, these are the non-negotiable brands. You need to use these, and you absolutely have to. And I'm going to keep an eye on the butter as I keep talking. The second thing that is slightly negotiable is chicken broth. Chicken broth is essentially universal. It's fine. I find that brand, Wellesley Farms, is absolutely fine. Swanson does a good job, but I honestly don't notice all too much of a difference. I'm going to shut off the skillet there for a second. We need Pam or anything to grease a casserole dish, 12 stalks of celery, and 6 onions. They're already chopped up in here. The only real optional thing that you can have is a Nutri-Slicer XL. This will save you time, tears, because it's just one giant food stapler. Now, the first step is first, I already showed you. You melt the butter into this big pan. You now want to add the sausage and cook it on up like so. Now, sometimes I do throw in an extra thing of butter just in case I want this thing to be extra fattening, but you really don't need to do that. Just keep it on coming. Turn this back on. I completely forgot. Chop this up real nice and smash it. A non-stick spoon is obviously a lot better to be using, but a spatula will chop up the sausage much better because the spoon will be handy for fluffing up any of the stuffing. Just chop it up on here. Now, sometimes it really doesn't matter what type of what type of stuffing you get to certain people, but I find that the green packet of Pepperidge Farm stuffing is the best and the only stuffing that you should really be using. That's why I say it's non-negotiable. And I'm going to hear, why the hell do you use breakfast sausage in your stuffing? It's actually a really good question to be asking. It's because it is super useful for making sandwiches the next morning. And look at all of that. See, and it also is really good with greasing up the pan because, sausage is full of fat and all types of preservatives and nonsense. So just keep throwing it in here, and we're gonna keep chopping it up to little itsy bitsy tiny pieces. Sometimes my family likes to use the amount of sausage packs, as far as a ratio is concerned, the same amount of sausage to the same amount of Pepperidge Farm stuffing packs that they get. For example, 2 things of sausage to 1 thing of stuffing. I find that the stuffing mix is fine and doesn't really need to be super followed to the letter. But what is good is that you have all these veggies, which we're about to add in now. So I'm going to add in our food stapler. The only thing that's bad about the food stapler is it does need to be cleaned, and it is a pain in the ass to do so. But the first thing is first, I will throw in the onion, and we will saute the onion alongside with the Pepperidge, the sausage. I said pepperidge there. I don't know why I did that. This is what happens when you are trying to rush something late at night for your family, or extended family, that is, in my case. So, we're going to actually need that extra stick of butter because of the fact that we are frying up so much veg. So, I'm going to do an intelligent decision to try to open this up one-handed. There we are. And I will throw this into the garbage. And I will allow that to melt. You don't have to do this, by the way, but I just find it's a good idea to throw in enough butter. One thing I do wish I had was that extra thing of sausage now, but whatever, who cares? Who cares? We are still going to be the hero of Thanksgiving. Because look at the way that the breakfast sausage has been stretched out very nicely alongside with the Kerrygold butter. Look at that. And I could just saute it a little bit, but I feel like that it's wise to keep chopping up whatever large pieces of sausage that you see with the spatula. One thing I do like about the wok, though, you can just sort of stir fry it like this. You don't have to do the whole tossing thing. I find that's better if you have rice or something, but you don't really have to toss it. Rather not create a mess, and plus I am very inexperienced at that, but you can absolutely do that if you really want to, instead of stirring it the way that I stir it. Now, I'm going to add in the celery, one-handed, for some of this because I don't want to spill it all over the floor. Probably more prone to doing that. And now I'm going to do the cutting board. There we are. Excellent. Now we stir in the celery. I do not like the way that piece looks personally, so I will compost that. You know, it's just fun things that you catch while you are actually cooking this stuff. Sometimes it's best to get it on camera and show you that I am not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. See, look at that. Don't like the way that looks. I hate it. If I hate the way it looks, I put it in the compost. I know some of the vegans out there will cry or something about that and say, how dare you waste food? And you know what? You're right, but no, I'm not eating something that looks weird. Do. Alright, we're gonna keep seeing. I'm gonna keep seeing if there's anything here. There is not. I'm gonna throw in these bits of onions. This is the thing I like about the non-stick wok, is that you can kind of get away with sifting it like this. It is very useful. And plus, with a Samsung stovetop like I have, it has a lot of great, how to say it, the heat up is really accelerate. The rate to heat up at maximum temperature is astronomically fast. Fun fact about me is that when I first lived at this house and had this thing, I thought that I was buying bad pasta because it was just boiling and then just turning into really limp, starchy goo. That was because I had been used to using a gas burner the entire time, and the electric range that you see here is so efficient that it could boil things at like 200 or 300 degrees very easily. Now see all that? Look at how See, this is what I was kind of afraid of, is that the butter, there's an excessive amount of butter a little bit, but that's actually okay. We can still cook that off. That is fine. Plus, we have a shit ton of veggies in here that are still worth cooking up. Now, I know that a lot of people whine about getting way too much vegetables in Thanksgiving or whatever. It's all about the stuffing / dressing, whatever you call it. But, honestly, I have found that this is a really good recipe because I just personally like vegetables, number 1 and 2. It is really good for filler of your sandwiches instead of it's kind of like putting in tuna salad between your sandwich buns, really. It is fantastic, and you can complement that with some thinly sliced turkey from the day before. No need for cranberry sauce or anything, although obviously you can. We're going to keep having that simmer just a little bit. So I think these are crisp, but not tender. See, celery is the thing that I find personally a little difficult to gauge if it's been fully cooked. The onions, obviously, you can tell here. Needs to be cooked just a wee bit better. Because it adds really good flavor. Alright, those are definitely... Definitely not the easiest thing to be doing with a wok, but I am doing it anyway just to show you that it can be done. Alright. We need to cook off some of this butter, so this is a way that I kind of like to do it. Just cook it like that, have it move around. See the way that the onion has caramelized, but I just could not talk there. That's one of the reasons I find cooking with a wok so beautiful, is that you can push things up to the side of the pan. And then you can... It doesn't push well, obviously. It's not like fried rice or whatever, because it's all veggie. But there is so much to work with here. Look at that beautiful butter. Paula Deen would be proud of what I have just done here. Or maybe not. Maybe she's vomiting because she hates butter. I thought she always liked butter. Maybe Dolly Parton would like this stuff. I don't know. Crush that. Oh, yeah. See that? This allows you to also cook things evenly, but without risking too much wasted time. Okay. You practically, see, this is the thing about that extra stick of butter. It is delicious smelling. So I think, is that basically ready? I'll probably chop it like that. If I can do it with a spatula like this real easy, I say it's basically ready. Yeah, that's crisp and basically tender at the same time. And now I am about to add the chicken broth. Was a little late to using this, but it's still fine. I know someone's going to be like, ew, it's expired. I'm like, yeah, by like 2 weeks. Grow up, it's fine. It's nothing but sodium anyway, and with some chicken. It's if it was like 2 years old, you should probably be concerned. All right. Now we have to bring that to a boil. Now you can see why I used the wok here, right? Now, at the same max setting, it basically is going to be soup. Like so. And we need to make sure that this cooks. It's a lot like making curried rice, in my opinion, in a way. But except the other essential step is to make sure that you don't burn anything. Now, while we're doing that, we are going to do the suggested thing of preheating our oven to bake to 350 degrees. Just because I don't feel like waiting. And if I wait any longer, I think I will be decapitated by extended family. But that is fine. Obviously, it's it's a win-win for everybody, but personally, I like to stay alive. Anyway, just gonna keep this on going. Now we have to make sure it boils. That's the big thing here. So we need to make sure that this all boils. And you can see this is why the Kerrygold butter is so important. I definitely used a bit too much, but that is actually okay because who is seriously going to complain about too much butter? Maybe a vegan? I do not know. But it is just sort of fun to also watch this come to a boil. And I'm going to have to try to open. This is going to be an adventure. Excuse me while I grab some poultry shears. Cut this right on open. A pretty nice trick to have is while you have the camera is to have some form of scissors or poultry shears anytime you unbox anything. There we go. And we have it opened up like so. I don't know why. So it did not go the way I planned, but you can see why I picked this up. Yes, the normal stuffing or classic like not cubed stuffing is kind of the same, but the select seasonings are what we at my family love. We love the select seasonings, and it really is pronounced with the butter and the sausage. So, keep it coming. Keep it boiling. Get that to boil. And it's boiling, but not quite the way I like it just yet. I like it piping, boiling hot. And that is why that is so important. Optional thing I did not go over is one of these things, but you don't really need to cover it if, you're going to be essentially throwing it in a casserole dish anyway. But if you want to eat it like right away as it is, then having like some tin foil if you want, and just letting it sit for like 10 or 15 minutes is absolutely a-okay. Look at that. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Amazing. Now, we can finally add in the dressing / stuffing. Do you guys call it dressing? Do you guys call it stuffing? Do you call it Pepperidge Farms? Do you call it something else? I don't know. What do you call it? You can let me know if you want. I'll try to read them. I'm not very good at reading comments usually. I am very good at pressing that like to the comment that you posted button, but I'm not much good at anything else when it comes to the whole YouTube jazz. So now that we threw that in, we're going to quickly mix that in. And now we're going to finally turn off the range. or rather the stovetop, at least, part of the range. Do people say stovetop, or do they say gas range, like, or electric range? Because I know the bottom part is the stove, and then the top part is the range, but my parents always said stove. I don't know, or like the gas burners. They did. The word range almost escaped my vocabulary, basically. Now, see, look at that. Now, this will all soak up the soup, or rather, the broth of whatever soup mix you would like to call that. Do. Just gotta get this nice and wet, and greasy. See, now you can see the sausage from the stuffing, from the onions, from the celery. It's beautiful. Look at that. Been a while since I made a video where I just straight up cook things. And the last time I cooked something, I was basically yelled at for making too much. And I was setting myself up for that, basically. That was really funny. I really liked that. That was one of my favorite videos. It was just a YouTube short where I made too much spaghetti. Probably somewhere around there. And I got yelled at. I eventually got through it, so to speak. See, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Now we are going to push this all down now. And now we're gonna finally do the thing that I probably should have done. Since this can of Pam, oh my goodness, using it as like a sauce or a pan cradle or spatula cradle. Not a pan cradle, what am I saying? A spatula cradle, or, something to make sure that the countertops don't get all greasy. I have made that inadvertently more disgusting looking, but it's, you can't really bitch about the results here. I'm trying to stand this up. Oh, that's gonna be virtually impossible. Okay, there we go, finally. We finally got a happy ending after all, am I right? Anyway, grease it on up with my fingers. If you don't like that I am greasing this pan up with my fingers, tough shit, it is my house. And my cooking, my pan, my rules, besides whatever germs are going to be on these, we're going to get heated and superheated anyway. And just like that, right on cue, we have to put this into that. This is going to be the fun part, because I'm going to record myself doing this. So we get a spatula. The reason why I like the spoon better is that it's easier to grab things. But it seems like the spatula also fluffs it up and does the trick. Sausage. And crouton thingy. I met a guy that just straight up called it croutons. He didn't know it was like called stuffing or dressing. He's just like, oh yeah, you do the turkey with the croutons, right? I'm like, well, it's a bit of a different mixture, yes, but it's essentially bread that gets really, really wet and you throw in with some vegetables and meat. So this is the real question. Is dressing or turkey dressing a salad? Because then, if it is, oh man, a lot of guys got to shred up their man cards straight away because you just ate a salad, bitch. But I don't see myself in that camp. It seems like a very oddly specific way to prepare a salad because usually salads are cold. And this is not a cold salad. It is a very hot salad. I mean, pasta salad I could see. I mean, definitely an elaborate process as well. And look at how, see, this is why I might have not picked a deep enough casserole dish, but that is okay. Why is, I don't think it really matters too much. Gonna try to get away with, oh no, we have a man overboard. That's gonna be a pain in the ass to clean up. Keep it away from the burner. I'm not even focusing the camera on what I'm actually doing. And pick that up. Ow. All right. Almost done here. Smooth this on out like your, what do you call it? Basically, you know how you're doing it with concrete, and you take a piece of wood and you scrape it alongside like that. Basically, not what I'm doing exactly, but I am trying to push everything into each nook and cranny of this casserole dish. So, this is fucking great. All right, here comes the final challenge. Pro tip, I like to put a, whatever you call that, a very wide pan that you can cook cookies on. It's not a cookie sheet, is it? It's just a really big pan thingy. And I'm gonna flex my right arm strength here and put that all into the oven like so. And just like that, I have just made you all into Thanksgiving heroes. Mostly, you're just going to have to wait, I want to say maybe half an hour, maybe 30 to 40 minutes, or 3/4 of an hour, basically. And you can now clean up the rest of the kitchen. I'll be back with the final results. Okay, we're back at it. We're going to check everything. The top looks crusty just enough. So we see that on the side of the casserole dish, it is bubbling. Meaning, it is safe to now turn off the oven. Took about 30 minutes, but now it is basically a picture-perfect casserole. And it is very easy to take out, and if there was any spillage, it would have spilled onto that cookie sheet there, or rather pizza pan, whatever you want to call it. We all called it cookie sheets, but I don't know if that's even a right term because we use that in our house, well, my previous house, that is, for everything. So let me get a whiff of that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, that feels good. And if you want a cheap way, or rather a efficient way to heat your home for a few minutes, or at least 30 seconds, while your casserole is standing, just leave the door open. Hopefully you don't have any, shall we say, inquisitive pets. If that is the case, you can just simply do this. Voila! Doubles as a mini space heater for your kitchen. And, but if you found this informative, thank you for watching. Please check out my other videos if you want, and tell me to go die if you want, or at least spread positive waves. I prefer that personally, but, I'm immune to death threats as well and all that great stuff. But if you want more content like this, feel free to say so. I can make more of it. It's actually quite nice. But I'm going to go now, and I'm going to, see if I'm still invited to the place that I would be going to normally. Bye.